right, and good morning. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave back. He's got his shots again. Were you out with COVID again, or what was going on?
No, actually my mother had come in from North Carolina, and I took a couple of days to visit her. She hadn't been here in about 2 years, so I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. So we ran around and did some cool and fun stuff for a couple of days.
Well, you know what? Just hanging out with you is pretty cool. I can imagine that it's got to be a blessing, a pleasure, all of that.
You need to schedule it. You got to lock it in for scheduling.
So what else you do? I saw a little steer. Your mom got to ride on a steer. I saw.
Yeah, do you have that? You have that video or that picture? Yeah, we went down to the stockyards, did some shopping around here, bought some hats, and there's my mom, 77 years old, up on a longhorn steer, riding around town, making sure everybody is having a good time.
Do you ever do that yourself? You ever ride a longhorn steer?
No, I have not. I've bulldogged a few, but never.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hear you on that side. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, we have a pumpkin shortage, and what's going to happen with no pumpkins?
You know what? If you don't have a pumpkin patch, where is Halloween, right? You got to have Charlie Brown's Halloween, but I think it's all about there's fungus going around, and that what one of the stories said. There was a little bit of a fungus happening in Texas, but really it's all about the supply chain.
Yeah, I think it's more that they can't get them picked up. They've had a lot of rain out there, in Farmington, New Mexico. That whole New Mexico area, just big time pumpkin area. They're not getting it there. Maybe there's some fungus going on. Sounds to me like somebody didn't do any research on the story is what I'm going with.
Yeah.
But trucks normally, they really do. They come out of California. They come out of Arizona, deadhead to go pick these up. Listen, there's too much money involved right now. Trucks aren't going empty to pick up pumpkins if they don't have to. There's also a shortage, Drive Safe Dave, on pallets, on the cardboard that these pumpkins go into. And here they are, and we know this. We see the pumpkins over at the churches, right? They're sitting out there. They're for a lot of giveaways. It's an opportunity to make a lot of money for the students, for churches, those kinds of things. And they can't get them there. And the season's pretty much over. I mean, no carving going on right now. If you haven't got your pumpkin yet, they may look a little sad when you get them.
Have you done any pumpkin carving this year?
You know what? It's been, when the kids were young, we had them over. There were pumpkin carving contests, but that's over.
No more?
No mas.
No. Oh, okay. Well,
no mas.
My daughter did some pumpkin carvings and this year already, and one of them was a Star Wars pumpkin, and one of them was just a scary pumpkin. But we had a Star Wars pumpkin.
A lot of that. It's like pumpkins and Christmas trees. When you do both, they cause a lot of fights in the house. They're just the decorations on them. Not a good. It wasn't a good bonding moment at the house of our household. It was a lot of fighting going on. Just like Christmas right around the corner. Listen, there'll be some good fights. Maybe I'll put the cameras up.
That's when family gets together and that heartwarming feeling that goes on, and then there's usually some infighting that happens. But I tell you what, do you bake the pumpkin seeds that you get out of the pumpkin? Do you do that at all? Is that part of the deal?
Every once in a while we do that. Yeah, but again, it's been a little while that we do that. I'll just go buy the pumpkin seeds now if I need them, just like sunflower seeds, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Hey, JB Hunt, we watched the JB Hunt video yesterday. A day in the life of a driver. Had some phenomenal results. JB Hunt as well, the same company that produced that, had a phenomenal third quarter. Pumped up, great year for them. Drive Safe Dave. They went from 125 million to 199.8. Went up almost 70 cents per share in profit for that year, bringing their total from 2.71 to 3.14 billion dollars. JB Hunt, great year as a lot of these dedicated trucking companies. I think Covenant came out with the same news as well. It's these folks that have the large contracts with the dedicated drivers. Boy, they are just really out there, kind of having a phenomenal year so far.
Yeah, they show record earnings on the stock exchange too, paying dividends as well. I was watching that as the stocks continue to rise on these companies. They do a lot of that last mile dedication freight as it gets to the distribution center. They do that last mile bump and run, and they're doing very well by it.
Yeah, they are. And then we talked yesterday a little bit about driver shortages and all the challenges that go into it. We see in California as well, producer, that we have the first high school that's going on, not part of a vocational school, but it's putting the kids, seniors in high school, in the trucks, teaching them how to begin a truck driving career.
Also introduces them to the idea of what it means to be a truck driver, because there are some quote unquote, I guess you would figure out what you think a truck driver or what truck driving career is and what it really is. What you've heard, and then they get to hear from a real life truck driver. They also get to use a simulator, and they get to understand a little bit what's going on in the trucking career and what money you can make and the opportunities that are there for everybody.
Yeah, it's real curious as we go into this moment, as most drivers that, that average age right now, they say it's about 55, 56 years old as a truck driver. At some point we're going to have to replace them. A lot of the students, a lot of the states, while you can run intrastate, it's the interstate that you really can't do. So, they talked about that in the Port of Savannah as well. Some of the frustrations within the Port of Savannah says, well, we can put a 18-year-old, 19-year-old in a truck, and they can run all through Georgia, but they can't go 15 miles over the border into South Carolina and deliver that same product. Producer?
Well, why they can't exactly start going over the state lines until they're 21, they are getting a lot of experience through this program. So they are going to be getting 180 hours of classroom training along with 30 hours of lab sessions outside of the classroom where they get firsthand experience in the truck. So it's not just a simulator, they're also being put in the cab of these trucks outside of their classroom in order to get that on-the-road experience. But I think this is a good attempt to get a younger base into the industry, much like a shop class or anything else that's being offered in a high school. This is a good way to show people that there's other trades besides college that you can go into after high school.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. And just take it from the trucking company again, the bigger the trucking company, the more apt they're able to participate in these kinds of programs. Less restrictions from the insurance company that provides them. They're self-insured. They're able to participate. Another advantage, again, that the big truck would have in this Drive Safe, Dave, is the fact that when you hire an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid out of high school, well, guess what? You're not paying them the same thing that you're paying those 49, 50, and 51-year-olds as well. Big difference. As have we seen pay skyrocket in the last year and a half? Those kids coming out aren't going to demand that, say, 56, 60 cents a mile that you're getting today. They're going to be back there in that 35 to 40 cents a mile.
Yeah, that training program that you have to allocate those resources to the trainer and the trainee. But those programs have always been there. It depends on, no matter whatever training school you go into or whatever trucking company you go to, when you go into the training program, there is a different offset balance of wages as you earn until you get to your quote-unquote expertise.
Yeah, we talked about South Carolina. Just use the Port of Savannah as an example. A big shout out to Barbara Melvin, becomes the very first president of a top 10 port in the United States. She becomes president and CEO of the South Carolina ports. Big news, Drive Safe.
Yeah, and another great opportunity showing that women in trucking are starting to take a real firm grasp of the leadership role and doing well in that. And congratulations and a big shout out to her as she continues to advance her career and do well by those out there in the port out there in the port.
Yeah, so she came from a chief operating officer, gets promoted up to this position right here. Phenomenal. Other news involving kind of the women as well is that we have the Aurora truck, right, coming out with the new app to bring on the autonomous vehicle. So it's kind of cool how they're kind of saying, hey, we have this app that's designed to bring the trucks out to your place, to allow you to do that. Pricing's not yet been discussed once again, right? We don't know anything, but they did as well. They hired a transportation expert to lead their safety side on the Aurora side. So pretty impressive as well as these women come in, making an impact in our industry, an industry at one point that was so dominated by males. We're not seeing it anymore. That's phenomenal. That's progression, Drive Safe.
Yeah, and I think her roots stem all the way back from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation as she progressed her career through the safety side, which is really interesting and neat to know that she's done that in many, many different aspects throughout trucking and throughout her whole career. It's been mostly about safety, and it's nice to know that she's doing that going forward for Aurora.
All right. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, we have some more news. We're going to come back in about 60 seconds. This is BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Sir Rick and Drive Safe Dave. The name was Karen Rasmussen. I couldn't think of her name. That the executive director now on that Aurora side. So it's big news as they have to get more people involved on that autonomous vehicle, right? They're going to have some more focus on safety to the public, to the general public. We got to know that that person or that truck with nobody in it is going to be safe. And that's going to be a hard sell, Drive Safe.
Yeah, looking up at the window and seeing nobody there in the vehicle just driving itself, it's going to be kind of unnerving, right? It'd be like with that ambulance, right, coming off the back of the truck and going down the road when it didn't have anybody on it. But I'll tell you, it is something. It is the new future. It is coming, and it's going to be something we've got to get used to, I think. And I think part of her job is to make sure that we understand not only that it's going to be good and that it's coming, but that it is safe.
Yes. Hey, Drive Safe Dave. We had another Safe Driver Week, and this was done up in Georgia, October 5th through the 7th. Results are in. Before we get to the results, I just want to give you an idea of exactly what they were looking for, because it's important to know they're looking for aggressive driving. So if you're out there driving aggressive, they're going to pull you over. That's what they were looking for. Following too close. Have we ever heard about that? Have we ever heard about following too close?
Speed and space.
That's another one guaranteed to get you pulled over during that week. Safety belts. Who needs a stinking safety belt? Well, let me tell you something. If you're driving through Georgia, October 5th through 7th, you needed to have it on. And we want to encourage you to not just wear it those 3 days, but to try to wear that year-round. Drive safe.
Don't just try. Do it. It's not only is it the law, but it will save your life and it'll save the life of somebody else if you're involved in it.
The next thing, guaranteed to get you pulled over, if you were driving under the influence.
What is it you're doing?
Under the influence, and we've spoken about that as well. And hey, ready? Headline. You can't do drugs and drive. You know, if it's news to you, and drugs aren't just the drugs that we think about, right? The pot, the marijuana, any of that. It can also be the painkillers that you've got prescribed to you. There's certain drugs that you can't take or that you need to call and make sure that you are able to drive while taking the medication.
Yeah, that will impair your ability to drive. Yeah, and it doesn't just have to be the illegal, the cocaine and the methamphetamines. It can be your prescription drugs, and it can be a really strong, sinus medication or any type of medication that would make you drowsy or impaired in any way. Because if you are impaired to drive, you shouldn't be out there on the road.
Including the booster shot, right? I mean, it's
no.
Not the booster shot. But hey, we'll go back to the Georgia. 682 vehicles pulled in, 329 traffic violations, to also include 81 drivers and 51 commercial vehicles getting placed out of service.
Yeah, and I saw that, and some of the things that they highlighted, I do believe, was licensing and regulatory requirements. So make sure that their driver's license and also all of the paperwork is correct inside the cab. You can be placed out of service very quickly if you don't have, all the information, that's all your proper documentation inside the truck. So that permit book up to date is very, very important, not only with your driver's license and all your own personal information, but also the documentation inside the cab with your bill of lading and also all the requirements, your insurance, and everything within your permit book.
So if you're sitting around, you've got nothing to do, Drive Safe Dave is saying, open up that book. Look at your dates.
Yes.
Make sure it's accurate. Make sure it's there. Some companies are going more virtual at that as well, right? You're able to get that on the computer, but if you still have a book, it's that plastic book, and inside it's in the binders. You open it up, go through it, and make sure it's still accurate. So many changes happen all the time, right? We go through licensings, different insurances, insurance renewal, midterm renewals. All of these things happen that require different documentation. Make sure yours is up to date. If you're sitting inside the office, if you're as a dispatcher, a safety manager, make sure that you're also pushing that information out to your folks and
Right.
almost checking it twice to make sure that everybody has it on there. Don't just say, well, I put it out there in the lobby. That doesn't work all the time. Producer.
Yeah, we've got a caller here. We got Curtis Benedict on the line. What do you got for us today, sir?
What's up, Curtis?
Hey, gentlemen, do you guys foresee a delay in cab cards this year as we seen last year?
That we can't predict what's going on, but I don't know that they'll be any faster than they were been any other time going forward. But there's no way to truly tell.
I don't think we'll have the delays like we had last year, though.
No,
I
with
mean,
the COVID closures, yeah, because the offices were closed.
so there's a little bit of a way to foresee. There's no chance that we're as backed up or as bad as we were last year. No chance of that. So I feel I'll go out on the limb and say it's not going to be that bad, Curtis, that we should be up and on all of that. I would almost say you should expect very minimal delays going forward this year. You all right?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I saw you yawning over there.
No,
Am I
no,
putting you to sleep?
I said wow.
Oh, wow.
I
Gotcha.
said wow.
Gotcha. So no, and we'll confirm that with you, but I don't see any reason we should have any kind of delays right now. Some of the delays were also put out by all of the exemptions that were going on. It was a weird year last year, putting off dates, people not working. At the end of the day, there's no extensions going on right now.
None.
We don't have an extension on any of that stuff, so I don't foresee us pushing it as long as we can as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got Lonnie Payne. What do you got for us, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Lonnie.
Another thing I like to do, Rick, on those permit books is I like to keep a copy of my license and my medical card in there in the front of the book. So just in case, you were to ever to lose your billfold or anything of that nature. Plus, it looks good for the officers when they're going through your book and you got everything in order like that. It makes a difference to them, That's all I had, boss. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Hashtag
Hey,
family.
Lonnie, do you keep your mother's maiden name in there as well?
No, but I'll put it in there for you if you'd like.
You know what? That's all. I don't think I
And
need
Social
much
Security
more.
card and birthday.
Social Security card, birthday,
Yeah.
and we're kind of good to go there. What's so interesting on this? My daughter had a fender bender a couple months ago. The state trooper was there, and his recommendation when they started to exchange information, and I don't know that we've spoken on this, but the officer said absolutely do not share your driver's license with anybody when you're involved in an accident. He goes, that is the number one, what they're taught at the state trooper level. Don't encourage that. As a matter of fact, discourage it, because there's a lot of identity theft that happens through that.
Wow, that's incredible.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I don't know if any of you have ever heard that or not. Maybe we can talk to our great Buckle Up Bob, the safety expert here at BCB Live, about that as well. But Drive Safe, he was very specific, told my daughter, no, do not, and told the other gentleman as well, don't exchange that.
Just exchange your insurance information. Is that it? Not not who you actually are.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, on that, think about your ID. It's got everything on there, except for that Social Security number.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of other things that you can use. And again, you know, if a straight trooper's telling me that, he's probably had a little bit of training on that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not discounting that. They find many ways. They dig through trash to get your ID. They dig through all kinds of stuff to go out and get your identification. So I can possibly imagine they'll use whatever means necessary to steal your ID.
Drive Safe, talk to us a little bit about the booster. FDA just approved the booster shot for Moderna and J&J, Johnson & Johnson. What I thought was kind of neat on that is how they went the approach that we see at the liquor stores now, right? The mix and match. Anymore, it doesn't matter. You know, you can grab whatever beer you want, put them in a thing, and walk out with a six-pack, much like the new booster shot, saying, we don't care what you had. A booster shot's a booster shot. It goes with anything.
Yeah, they're allowing a mixing of the booster of the Moderna and the Pfizer, but I'll tell you what's interesting is they not only before they'd only allowed it for the compromised individuals to wear. I mean, to get. Did I say that wrong? Okay.
Probably.
I
don't think anybody's listening anyway, so just keep going.
Before they had only allowed them to have their booster shots, but now anybody over the age of 65 or having a hazardous situation, whether it be work or home or exposed to the virus, can also get a booster, and that'll come out, I think, as early as December. Everyone will be able to go in, and you can get either the Pfizer or the Moderna, and they believed it to be said that they were doing that because some people weren't sure which shot they got, even though it's printed on your card.
Yes, sir. Drive Safe, it is Thankful Thursday, one of our favorite days in here, and you can see it, and I can see it right here on the sign, started backwards over there. Thankful Thursday. What does that mean to you, Drive Safe, Dave?
Thankful Thursday gives me the opportunity to pick a specific day to go out there and say thank you. Say thank you to the driver for what they do, and always make sure that we either here in the office or we here at the studio find a way to remember how we appreciate every driver on the road. What are you doing back there? Every driver on the road, making sure that we are thankful to what's going on. I'm glad you brought the sign up, Rick. The helping hands as we go out here to say thank you. Is this?
It's I guess it's helping hands. It's what I feel like when I walk by you. You're always, hey Rick, help me out, help me do this, help me do that. But you know what? On Thursday, I'm always more than willing to do that, Drive Safe Dave. It's what we do here on BCB Live. Hey, we want to thank each and every one of you for what you do. We talked yesterday, and we can kind of just move back into that a little bit. But yesterday we had a day in the life of the driver, and if you didn't walk away from that show thankful for a driver, thankful for what they do, thankful for what you do, there's something wrong. If you as a shipper or receiver, if you have the power as a dispatcher, back office support, if you realize you have that power to help somebody and you didn't, well, shame on you. Thankful Thursday is a day that we can kind of bring that up and give you another chance. Start it today. Do something to take care of these drivers out there on the road. Make a difference in their life. Be the one that gets them that gets them them safe miles, right? Be the one that sticks up for them and says, you know what? He or she, my driver's got to get home. Be that one to make the difference in the life of another. It's like that, Drive Safe, right?
But it is like that. But it's more than just that. It's a chance to not only say, it's okay to just say, thank you, driver. I mean, it's okay to do that and to say, and when the driver sees another driver, when you see one in the fuel aisle or you see one walking around and you have a chance, and make sure you thank each other for what they do. Appreciate your compadres out there, your fellow drivers, your fellow compatriots out there on the road doing what you do and doing it so well. Make sure you thank them for doing what they do.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to do it, right, you're just like, I mean, how do you do that? Drive Safe, I'm going to encourage, and maybe inside this office, we just put a video camera, say, inside the conference room, because, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially on a Thursday, when you walk in, it's no different than our exchange. When you walk in, I'm like, hey, Drive Safe, good morning to you, buddy. I missed you. I welcome you back.
The hugs were, I had to get away from the hugs. He was a little too touchy-feely this morning, but I'm telling you, other than that, it gives us, hey, if you have a chance today, make sure you thank a driver. That's what Rick's getting at. If you find a way, see a driver, walk out there, shake their hand, say hi, bump fists, bump elbows, whatever it is you got to do. But if you don't find a way to say thank you today, that's not doing what it takes today to make it right.
All right. Hey, listen, we're going to be back to you in about 60 seconds. Quick break. BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, talk to us a little bit about the latest cyber attack on Sinclair.
It sounds like that Sinclair lost like $4 million. And you know what? I wasn't really all knowledgeable on exactly what the Sinclair broadcast group was and and all their subsidiaries.
Tell us, give us two of their subsidiaries.
I know one. I'm going to go out there on a limb and say that CBS and their affiliates are a member of the Sinclair Broadcasting Group. I'm not sure who all may be else be.
When I hear Sinclair, I'm thinking about oil.
I am too. I'm thinking of the little dinosaur out there by the oil group. That's
Amoco, Amoco. Is Amoco still around?
Yes, they are.
Are they really?
Yes, they are.
I have not seen an Amoco store forever. That by far was. I'll tell you that my very first credit card was Amoco oil.
I think Sinclair changed their name to, I want to say, and y'all help me out there. Sinclair actually changed it to
CBS.
No. No, the Sinclair oil. I think Valero. I think Sinclair changed to Valero.
Gotcha. All right, good stuff. Hey, talk to us about the school zone.
School zones, the crackdown on school zones and driving within school zones. I think there's a big nationwide crackdown. Dylan, do you have much information on that? As I know.
I think it's pretty simple, right? You see a bus, they have their stop sign out, you stop.
Well, what does that do?
You
understand that not only does
creates an intersection.
Correct.
And the intersections, as we know, because of Buckle Up Bob, our safety expert, creates a most dangerous situation, right?
Yeah.
Intersections. We talk about dangerous in the intersections. But seriously, when you see a school bus and the stops out, you got to stop.
No,
and they're going to stop at the railroad crossings as well. We have to understand, appreciate it, and respect it, producer.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, so this was actually a blitz done by the North Carolina Highway Patrol this week that was done to specifically target people who were doing violations in school zones, as they had a pretty high uptick in people violating that. So that started on Monday and is going to go through tomorrow at 5 p.m., although it's probably going to continue on through the weekend, and they are going to be upping the violation, I guess, what would you even say? The fines that happen throughout the school zones.
They're going to increase the fines? Is that what they're doing?
Well, they're not going to decrease it.
Probably.
I'm going to go out there and say it. And you know what? And it's funny. You know what? We take a lot of pride on being prepped for the show. And it was funny how we went from nationwide down to one state on this big sting that we have going on the school bus. Somebody's not prepared, and you know what? We were going to go until we were going to find out who it was. You know, we're going to, go.
Were you genuinely prepared on the story, on that story?
I was ready for that one. The pumpkin zone, even the dollar shipments on the COVID from the Maersk. You know, the reduction in pricing. Listen, you know what? If you want your news, you come here first. It's BCB Live, and we'll throw in a little bit of safety. We don't have Buckle Up Bob today, but we do have Dale, independent contractor Kellen, live next on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Whoa! Watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News over the UK, they have the Army personnel getting ready to start driving the fuel truck. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob.
And most importantly, safety.
You can do many things to communicate that you are slowing down. You can flip your hazards on.
Expect craziness like this all the time.
75% of these fatal accidents involving these trucks are with the first two, and it's the driving too fast and tailgating. If this driver hadn't slowed down, this could have been a whole different outcome.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, good morning. Let's talk safety on Thankful Thursday. Hey, what I'm thankful for is all the professional drivers that we have here at BCB, all the professional drivers that we have in the transportation industry. We got Dale independent contractor Kellen or Dick in front of the camera, or we've got double check Dale and Mr. Producer at the controls. Let's go into and look at some traffic. All right, Dallas this morning. Oh, we got quite a bit going off. We go over to the Fort Worth side. 35 West coming in on the north side of the loop. We're looking a lot of traffic on the southbound side coming in there. And then 30 through the mid-cities, lots of traffic, slowdowns, tie-ups there. And then once we get into the Dallas area, you know, your major concerns are going to be, you know, the downtown area through the canyon on 30 and 67 down by Highway 20, a little bit of traffic on 35 East, southbound, south of the loop, and then 45 looks really good going out. 20 going eastbound looks really good going out out of the city. So, you know, overall, Dallas for a Thursday morning, Thankful Thursday, not too bad. Kansas City, if you're driving up in Kansas City, you should be thankful this morning because the only traffic we're looking at is a little bit of tie-up down there on the south edge on 435 south loop down by 470. Other than that, Kansas City is wide open this morning. As we go out to Chicago, you know, once you get inside the 294 loop, you know, everything's going to be very congested. But if you're on the 294 or outside the loop, you know, it looks really good traffic-wise out in Chicago. Even 80, 90 over in Indiana looks good this morning. So really not bad traffic out in Chicago on this Thankful Thursday. We get into Philadelphia, a little bit different story. You know, 276, we're looking at a lot of traffic up there where it hits the 295. And then the downtown area, of course, in Philadelphia, lots of traffic. Looks like they have some rain and some weather events going on out there. So make sure we slow down. If you're out in that area, make sure we slow down, make some adjustments for the weather and the road conditions out there. If you go over on the New Jersey side, you know, just around Haydenfield or Hayden on the New Jersey Turnpike, that's probably the only really slow down that we're looking at there this morning. Going into Atlanta, of course, unless you're making deliveries in Atlanta, you should not be inside the loop. And we'll start on the north side of the loop, and that's north of Interstate 20. Over on the east side, lots of red and orange in both directions. Lots of slowdowns there. And then up on the top side of that loop, 285 between 85 and 75, again, lots of congestion, lots of traffic going on there. South side of the loop, not too bad except for one section just south of the 154. Lots of dark red there, so you're probably going to see some slowdowns and some tie-ups there, traffic delays there. 85 on the southbound side, south of Highway 29, lots of traffic coming into the city. Nashville, you know, really overall doesn't look too bad. It's the 2440 going eastbound out of the city where you're really going to see the tie-up there, and then a little bit on 24 coming into the loop. But overall in Nashville, you're looking really good in the loop. Inside the 6540 loop doesn't look too bad in Nashville. All the outbound 65 south is wide open. 24, once you get past Antioch, you're going to see some tie-ups on the west or northbound side on that. So 24, you're going to see a little bit on the south edge of Nashville. Looking at the Washington, D.C. area, you know, let's start down at Washington. You know, 495 loop on the north side of Washington up around Silver Springs, Bethesda. You're going to see a lot of traffic, lots of tie-ups there. Downtown Washington, D.C., lots of red and orange traffic slowdowns, tie-ups there. So expect some delays if you're in the downtown area of D.C. Hopefully you're on the loop. Overall, not too bad. We go up to the Baltimore area, and you know, Baltimore doesn't look too bad. It's the 695 loop. Of course, you know, it's rush hour, and so there's lots of traffic on the north side of the 695 up in Baltimore. So with that, let's go to some weather. We're going to start with some winds this morning, and this looks current. You know, the winds out on the west coast, I think we're going to see winds pick up this afternoon out on the Pacific coast of northern part of California, Oregon, and Washington. And then the other area that we're going to see some winds is probably Wyoming, Front Range in Colorado, and then central United States, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois. We're going to see some winds there. If we kick that up to this afternoon, you know, the winds really pick up out on the west coast. Like I said, northern California, Oregon, and Washington, D.C., and then in Wyoming, the northwest corner of Wyoming, there's some pretty strong winds going on out there. And the area of wind, it seems to have expanded in the central United States to include Ohio, West Virginia, and Indiana this afternoon. By this evening, you know, winds start to die down in most places except for out west. You know, those winds out there, there's a front coming on, and so again, northern California, southern Oregon, and the coastal areas of Washington, there's a lot of wind going on out there. You know, at 9 p.m., you know, we're seeing gusts of 43 miles an hour right north of the California border in Oregon. So if you're in that area out on the west coast, along the Pacific, you know, the wind is going to be picking up this afternoon or this evening. Still going to be there. By tomorrow morning, you know, the winds for most of the United States have died down to where there isn't much going on except for, again, out in the California area, southern Oregon. Let's take a look at some rain and thunder, see what the precip is going on. And if we look at what's going on currently, you know, we see some rain in northern California, which is a welcome thing. See a little bit of snow up in the northwest corner of Wyoming where we talked about winds a little bit. And then when we get over to the eastern side of the United States, we have some rain down in the Alabama, Mississippi, going up into the northwest corner of Georgia, and then northern Ohio and central Indiana, and then going up through Michigan. There's some thunderstorms headed that direction. As we go into the afternoon, you know, California still has some rain, but it doesn't look like there's anything severe. We don't see a lot of thunder or lightning predicted for out in that area. We do see some rain and thunderstorms picking up in central Texas and then down in southwestern Texas. That band of rain that I said this morning going down in Alabama has expanded up through Tennessee, central Kentucky, eastern Ohio Valley, and then up through Pennsylvania. And then the northern Michigan is looking for some rain this afternoon. As we go into, you know, the evening, out along the west coast, we're really seeing a lot of rain going there, and that stretches all the way up from northern California all the way up through Oregon and Washington. Lots of rain going on out there this afternoon or this evening. And then also the storms in central Texas seem to have intensified a little bit for this evening. And in the out east, everything is shifting to the east, northeast a little bit, but Alabama, northwest Georgia, eastern Tennessee, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, all are expecting some rain this evening. For tomorrow morning on your Friday, West Coast still has a lot of precipitation going on. We're actually even seeing some snowflakes there out in Oregon, probably in Northern California. So if you're out in that area again, be aware there are some weather events going on. Make sure you're planned for it. Other rain going on tomorrow morning. Central Oklahoma looks like there's a good thunderstorm happening out there, and then a little bit up in South Dakota. Out on the East Coast, everything has shifted way east, and we're seeing it just in parts of North Carolina, Virginia, and maybe up through Washington, D.C., so we'll have to take a look at that tomorrow. That wraps up the weather. Let's talk a little bit of safety here right now, and this week's topic has been driving in adverse weather. And we talked about being alert, slowing down, lane changes. And today we talk about trip planning. And it's really a great thing because I heard Sir Rick talk about, checking the permit book. And that really goes into trip planning too, just being ready, making sure that we've gone through all our paperwork, make sure we're planning for our stops, checking in with our DMs and our safety guys if need be. If something's going on with the weather, let your DM know that, hey, this is what's going on. Plan your trip, check in often. If things deteriorate, one of the things I've learned from the afternoon show lately is, drivers call in and say, hey, I'm out here in western Nebraska and it's really windy, or Pennsylvania. So I love it when they share that with it, and share that with your DMs. So if we have other people out in that area, that we have the same thing, that we can share that information with them. Accident streaks. You know what? We're at 0.02 for the day. On preventable accident-free streak, we're at 0.2. Our get out and look backing streak is at 41, and our DOT reportable is at 0.2. So you know what? We continue to grow on all those, and so let's keep up the good work, especially on the get out and back. We have to make sure that we get out and look every time we get out and back. We can't let our guard down on that. Have to be aware of the situation. With that, let's take a short break.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Wow.
Drive safe, Dave. Dale Kellen. Top of the morning to both of you. Great, some decent weather that we're up against, right? Nothing too crazy. We spoke a little bit about the accidents and where we are. The streaks have gone down, but you know what? All we can do is 24 hours still. All we can do is what we do today. At the end of the day, we celebrate what happens today. That's what we celebrate, what's happening right now. You have that ability to make a positive influence in our industry. And just because something bad happens, you don't just throw it out and say, we're never going to get there. We can get there. We can get to a year. And you know what? It started a couple of days ago. We've just got to continue to do our part today.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we step up and step out today and make sure that we get going what we're doing today. We talk about 0.2. We talk about 0.2, and we talk about the number 2, and we talk about what we're doing. And Rick's right. 24 hours in a day, what we do today, how you do today, how you start today, how you finish today, and everything in the middle. You've got to make sure that safety is primary. Safety is number one, and that's our goal here. That's our mission. That's what we want you to think about. That's what we want you to think about first in everything that you do.
A little tongue twister there.
Yeah,
hey, but you know what? We will go out and say this. If we go back and just look at the numbers, this is what we do know is that the accidents that we've had, that we've been involved with, or anybody's been involved with, they've all been preventable. They've been preventable. And that's the good thing. And that means that we have that chance to keep the streaks going. It's been something that we just didn't do. And we've got to make sure that we're passing, that there's nobody in the blind spot, that the wind, if the wind is blowing and howling and the safety's saying, you know what, a good idea to not run an empty trailer in this weather, we don't do it. Why? Because bad things can happen. We want to prevent as many of those as possible. We also have the ability to slow down. We also have the ability to increase space. We don't have to tailgate anybody.
We can own the space in front of us. We can watch for the chaos with situational awareness. When I first started here, that was, one of the big things we were really focused on. Get that big picture, making sure that we're looking around and controlling the chaos, owning the space in front of us, slowing down. When we slow down, that just slows down the chaos, gives us more opportunity to make good decisions as we see things happening in front of us.
That's good. Hey, let's throw some videos out here.
Kind of a different dynamic this morning. Yeah, I like this one. We talk a lot about tailgating and slowing down and controlling the space. This one starts out really good. And then when all of a sudden we just start really climbing up in there, and then we get that sudden lane change. We just have to make sure that we're allowing plenty of space when we make that change, because we've seen time and time again, four-wheelers and 18-wheelers for that matter change their minds. And so we have to allow that space, so when we get close behind them, if they make that sudden lane change, we have some place to go.
Yeah, let's just play the game here for a second. Lots of lanes, right? Lots of lanes, more than 2, more than 3. Orange signs. I see orange. I see lots of signs. I see traffic. Slow down.
So a couple of things that catch my eye when we first look at this video. So as we start, notice the white pickup in your right hand, and notice how slowly we're passing it. And then you can see it in the right mirror. You can still see it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're bobtail.
Yeah.
Because if we aren't, we've got a problem. And I just say, but yeah, you're right. When you're in these high traffic areas, this is definitely a metropolitan area with 4 lanes of traffic. Actually considered 8 lanes of traffic, 4 on each side. You're definitely in a metropolitan area anywhere, wherever you are. So be careful, slow down. You're not in a hurry. And what's really disconcerting about this video more than anything is we look to be going faster than anybody else on the road.
I was hoping somebody would see that. We're passing everybody. Nobody's gaining space on we're gaining on everybody.
Correct.
As far as you can see, we're gaining on them.
That's correct. We're going faster than everyone on the road.
Okay, as we look at this next one, again, it starts out really good, and I like we start out good, but then again, before we make this lane change, and it's a quick lane change, we get too close. When we have the space, we need to use it. We need to get over sooner so we don't crowd that on that. And we don't see anybody coming up on the left, and so we could have made this lane change a lot earlier. Speed and space, we talk about it all the time, and it just goes to show the importance of we're changing lanes here, and we got great space, and it's really a good thing because look what's happening ahead of us. The four-wheeler has to go to the shoulder because the 18-wheeler's coming over. If we don't have that space and we aren't going slower than everybody else around us, that distance closes a lot earlier, a lot faster, and something way bad can happen here. So, it just goes to show speed and space, and that four-wheeler probably wish he had a little more space between that 18-wheeler.
You look at this video and a couple of things that bring to mind. Number one, you're on a bridge. There's nowhere to go if anything bad does happen. And when you do see these things occur, and when you've got this stopping happening going on the freeway, it's very important that you signal behind you and hit the flashers and let everybody else know that you've gone from a 4-lane road of traffic down to almost 0 speed, and let everybody know what's happening around you. Hey, we're stopping up here. You almost come to a genuine and complete stop.
As we look at this next one, this one's one where you really need to take, as a driver, look at that big picture, because as you're coming up in your lane, you see the pickup showing the turn signal comes over in front of you, but the other car in the right-hand lane also has this turn signal on and is trying to move over also. So you get that big picture. You have to analyze, take a look at everything that's happening, and start slowing down, controlling the space in front of you and controlling the chaos around you.
Yeah, let's play the same game. Okay? more than one lane, more than two lane, more than three lanes, lots of lanes, orange, okay, is traffic, and we are gaining on the world once again. We are gaining on everyone. Let me tell you, we've got to slow down. We've got to have intentionality that says, slow it down, because right now you don't see that construction vehicle, that truck that's picking up the junk on the right side, right? Right there. You don't see him there, and by the time everybody gets there, they start slowing, hitting their brakes, and you get on them a little quicker than we needed to.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, and this is really, when you look at this video, you see the driver come from the far left lane. He obviously wants to get on the exit or move all the way over. When you get this close to him this quickly, he can't see. So he's edging out there and even going even slower because now he's worried. So here he is. He's got a car. He's waiting for it to pass. You come up on him. You're going slow. He can't see around you, and he's got to move over into that, over his right shoulder and move all the way over. There is another example of a four-wheeler wanting to move 4 lanes over a traffic.
I get that, and again, but we can only control what we can control.
Absolutely.
And we've got to control the speed, the space. We look on the oncoming traffic. There's just traffic out there. You know, you're not on you're in a city right now.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it.
And
right?
construction out there, too.
Yeah.
We got to watch it, folks. Come on. Next one.
Next one, intersections are dangerous. We talk about all the time. This is a stoplight. Starts through. Got past that point of return and decide to go through it. Not the safest decision. Plenty of time there for the driver to have stopped and not go through that yellow light. So, we just have to be prepared on those stale green lights and when they change to stop, because we know how dangerous intersections can be.
In hopes, I'm hoping that 3 out of 4 of these videos are drivers that maybe don't yet participate in the BCB Live show, because my heart says, why would you do this if you watch this show? Why? I mean, you now know about intersections, and you now know that when it's yellow, you don't just run it. And those are legit concerns to me right here. I'm going to challenge you out there. If this is one of your videos, why are we doing this? Why aren't we slowing down when we really do have that ability? And when streaks end, this is why they end right here. And what you've got to make sure that you know today as you're listening to me is that sometimes they come in threes. And when we see the videos we're seeing right now, we're screaming for another accident. That's what we're doing. You know what? I'm going to run the yellow lights. I'm going to run it with that trailer behind me. I'm going to take the chance on killing somebody today. That's what I see. I'm in heavy traffic. I know I'm going faster than everybody else. Why? Why? Slow it down. Create your space. You know this, that you do control the ability to avoid an accident by not putting yourself in the situation that we're doing right now.
Yeah, the yellow light is to clear the intersection, not to enter the intersection.
This is a bad decision. This is a bad decision. And maybe, the sun's in our eyes and I can't quite see. You see it right now. You see it right now. At some point, I'm going to go with you. You're coming out of the bridge. Well, I couldn't see. Well, the next 15 foot you could see. You were going slow enough to stop.
Right.
Not a good decision. Nothing that we should, these are issues. These are worries that we see right now. You're like, my God, why would you do that? Have you not seen the show? Have you not seen the intersections are the most dangerous areas? And if somebody else is timing that road, right, timing that light to go the other way, they timed it just right, they hit you, we're in trouble. And we're going to take a life.
Here's just a great video of keeping the space and managing and owning the space in front of you. Patience, taking it nice and easy, slow, keeping that out there. So, this is a great video to look and to share with everybody out there. Lots of traffic, and we're keeping that space. We're going slower than most of the people around us. This one here again, stop and go traffic. We're watching our space, keeping it there.
Love the speed in this one.
Yeah, but then you always got to be prepared. Be prepared for the unexpected, because there comes that cycle down the middle of it. So always have to be alert, even though we're at a very slow speed, just crawling along. Still have to be aware of what's going on around us, and so if we don't drift over into the next lane or something like that.
I like the amount of concrete between me and the vehicle.
You know, and this one takes a little while to develop, but it was not a good choice by this truck that's going to try making a U-turn right there, and I'm sure it does not end well for him. You know, in a case like that, just go up to the intersection, make the turn, or go straight, get turned around and come back at it. Don't try making a U-turn in the middle of the road and tying the lanes up and making it unsafe for everybody else around you.
Okay, seriously, is he really making a U-turn right here?
Oh, that's exactly what he's doing, and he's not making it well. I'm letting you know, that's not happening.
Not a good one. So those are your daily videos. Some interesting stuff today.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say, based on the videos we've seen from not only the drivers that send in videos to the show, hey, we thank you for that. We also see the videos of a truck doing a U-turn out there. Let me tell you, some bad decisions going on out there right now. We want to slow it down, right? We want to just start today, start over. If you're pissed, if you're angry, if your anxiety's there, it doesn't do any good to tailgate. When you hit somebody in the rear end, it's not worth it. Bad things are always going to happen from that rear end, and you do absolutely have the ability to slow down. You just have to do it. It's just a mental thing. It's action item, right? If you don't slow down, it's not going to do it on its own. You've got to be in control of that vehicle. Bad things happening. That's a crazy U-turn right there. If you saw that, don't say, well, this is how he should have done it. He shouldn't have done it. You know, there's not a right way to do an illegal U-turn.
No.
You just don't do it.
You don't.
You don't do it. I'm not sure my car could have made that Yui right there. What's he doing? I mean, I would have liked to have seen the end of that.
Yeah, I would have liked to see how it turned out badly.
I mean, hopefully
it's like
everybody got to watch that for 15 minutes, by the way. Just so you know, that lasted a whole lot longer than that few second clip. That whole scenario that was going down there, that lasted a while. I can trust me, that didn't happen overnight.
Do we have anybody raising their hands? Any comments on that? I didn't know if we had the owner of that video to tell us the rest of that story, because I can tell you that he saw the whole thing, or she saw that whole thing. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, close us out with a quick prayer.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to say thank you for all things. Thank you for your grace, and thank you for the drivers out there for what they do. It is Driver Appreciation Day, Father, and we want you to help us create and demonstrate our appreciation for all those that give so much. Father, we also want to thank you for giving us the ability to go out and do the right thing, and help us create good environments and good decisions. Father, help us be better today than we were yesterday. Help us to slow down and make great decisions today, Father. Thank you for all that you do. In your name we pray. Amen.
We'll see you this afternoon. This is BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.